Hey everybody, I'm Heather from the Designers Collaborative, and I am joined today by Michele Williams of the Scarlet Thread Consulting. I'm so excited to have her here, and I want her to explain to you so much. So welcome, Michele.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you today.
Thanks. So we're going to kick it off with what makes you a different business coach than some of the other interior design coaches? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. And I love that question. I think it's great because, just like every designer is different. I like to really think of it as we all kind of bring a little bit of who we are into what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a little bit of who I am coming into what I do. I spent my first 10 years in corporate working for Dun& Bradstreet Software, building financial accounting software. Well, once you build accounts payable, general ledger, project accounting, you can't just walk away from that. And so I would say that one of the big things that makes me different is that I use your financial documents as kind of the jumping off point
Mm-hmm.
to look at what needs to be fixed, corrected, tweaked, modified, enhanced in your business. And so I dive deep into the financials of the companies that I work with. And I also take a very holistic approach. So I'm not coming in saying, here's the one way you have to do it. So Heather, what it really does is it allows the designer who calls me, it allows them to stay in the driver's seat of their business.
Love
So,
that.
sometimes I hate it when there's a program and you're going through it, and I've had it happen to me as well. And it tells me to do something that just grates against either my values, my strengths. Like I know that what they're wanting me to do, but I just don't want to do it. I want to honor that. There's usually more than one way to get to an end result. So we just look at what it is we need to get out of it and find another way to do it. So I don't do cookie cutter businesses. I have a very holistic approach, and the financials are the basis for how we see what's happening in a company.
Yeah, it's so important because I have been in my interior design business for about 8 years, and it was a struggle. Oh, am I frozen?
Yeah.
Oh
I
no!
hear you. There you
Oh
are.
gosh,
You're back.
I'm back. Okay, let me start over. So in my business for 8 years, and I would say that I had a lot of success with getting published, getting like ideal clients, and I had, so much going for me, but yet the finances, I was so struggling with that. And it's, oh my God, it's so frustrating because you're working so hard and you're looking at your profit and going, but where did it go?
Right.
What happened? So I love that your focus is on the finances because you can have all the other pieces in place, and if that's missing, it's like, why are we doing this? It's not a hobby, it's a business. So
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. And my courses that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, even my whole approach, what I do and how and why I do it, and why I've been teaching in a very specialized way for over 10 years now. And the reason that I do that is when I started my business, I had a business degree. I built accounting software and I still got my pricing wrong. I still didn't understand full on the profitability, how the cash was flowing in and out of my company, what all the numbers meant together. I had always looked at them on a large company view, or I was given a budget to manage, but I didn't have to create the whole budget. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I didn't know how to take big business principles and dial them back and put them into, I would say, more micro decision-making processes within our own companies.
Yeah.
And so that was a big aha moment for me. I remember the day clearly, sitting at my kitchen table and doing our taxes. I love to do taxes. I know I love all the numbers. To me, they're like a puzzle. I love putting them together. I know that's not how everybody feels.
Yeah.
I know I'm a unicorn there. I got it. I embraced
Well,
it.
thank God for the unicorns because somebody
That's
has to
right.
help
That's
us.
right. They keep things exciting. So I'm doing our taxes, and I realized that I had a negative number in net profit, and I was in tears because I had taken on, my company. I'd started it out of passion and excitement and desire to do these things that I love, to make beautiful things. And by it being negative, that meant that we were having to put my husband's hard-earned money into the company, right? We were taking our family funds and putting it into the company for me to serve rich people on their fourth home. And it just didn't make any sense to me. And it was actually a very broken moment for me, where I had to make a big decision. Am I going to continue this, or am I going to stop? And I remember thinking, I want to do this, but I got to do it right. Like I've got to figure it out and do it a better way. And I started that day doing a lot of research on what does it mean to be in hobby and what does it mean to be in business. And
Yeah.
then I even went as far as thinking of the companies that I admired. What was it about their business practices that made me see them in that light,
Right.
and started creating like this map of here's what I'm going to do and here's how I'm going to do it. And one of the big ones was they knew their numbers. They knew what it cost to be in business. They knew how cash came in. They knew what their best sellers were. They knew where to put their effort and energy. And that was something that I had just kind of let go because I was so excited about doing the pretty part.
Right. It's like the
Had it,
business just sort of
yeah,
happened to
it
you.
just sort of happened.
Yeah.
And so at one point I thought, if I'm going to go do all these things, I'm going to do them, and I'm not going to make any money. I'm going to go do it for a nonprofit, but I'm certainly not going to do it for those that have the ability to pay me.
Mhm.
And then the other big aha moment in that, Heather, was that it wasn't their fault. It was my own fault.
Yeah.
And so I had to take full ownership that I set my prices.
Mm.
I set my boundaries.
Mhm.
I did those things. They didn't do it to me. I told them how much to pay me. They paid me what I asked. I just didn't know what to ask for and how to ask for enough and how to make it come across with confidence. And that
Right.
I was my own worst enemy in that.
I think that's so many designers, which is why I'm so excited to be able to share this with many, many people. So Michele offers 3 different packages, and I'm going to go through each title, and she's going to tell us about each one. And she also offers a bundle, which I'm so excited about. Okay, so she has Understanding Your Financials, Mastering Your Profit, and Pricing Without Emotion. So each one of these is its own course, and you can take them one at a time, or you can do the bundle and get all of them. So tell us where you would think somebody should start, and then
Right.
what you think their next one should be, and how that should go.
Sure. So I always like to start with Pricing Without Emotion. That is the course that I've been teaching for 10 years. Prior to me putting it online just recently, it had been a 2-day, 16-hour immersive course. And
Wow.
that's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Because what I teach in that course is where pricing comes from, the strategy of pricing, tactically how to price. There's a difference in saying strategically, I want to do markup or hourly, or I want to do flat rate. But when you get down to tactically doing it at the table, filling out that invoice, you may think about things differently. You may put the pieces together. It's kind of like this. Let's say you're playing chess. You have a strategy for how you're going to beat your opponent, but your opponent makes a move you didn't anticipate. Well, the minute they do that tactically, you have a strategy, but tactically, you now have to make a decision on what you're going to do while you're sitting at the chessboard. And
Okay.
that's the same way that it is with pricing. And
Mhm.
that's how we are able to learn to work within their budgets. That's how we're able to learn to kind of push and pull the levers that we have for pricing, which is our time and our markup or the profit that we're making on the sale of product. How do we move these things back and forth? And so that course goes in depth to help you understand that you're also not just pricing a product, we're pricing us, and we're pricing our teams, and we're pricing what we bring to the job. And so I start off, even probably the first half of it is really getting deep into what are we trying to put a number towards, because that's what's so hard, right? And
Yes.
I like to think of it as this way: we're pricing for our knowledge, which is what we know, our expertise, which is our knowledge in action. That means we actually know how to use that knowledge. We don't just
Hmm.
have it.
Right. Anyone can make a Pinterest board. Doesn't mean you can make it happen.
That's right. That's
Right.
right. And I like to say, I can watch on YouTube on how to pull your tooth, but you probably don't want me to do it, right? I
That's a
mean,
good one.
think about it. We can
Yeah.
learn how to do about anything on YouTube, but that doesn't mean I want you to be the one to do that for me.
Right.
I want a track record of people that know what to do, when to do it,
Yeah.
when to break the rules, all of that.
Hmm.
That's what they're paying us for. So
Yeah.
they're paying for our knowledge, what we know. They're
Hmm.
paying for our expertise, us doing it and having a track record.
Hmm.
They're paying for our time to
Hmm.
actually do it. They're paying for the value that we bring, for the end result and the transformation that we provide. And then they're also paying us for the stress relief, not to
Oh,
have
yeah.
to do it, worry about it, and maintain a spreadsheet with every tiny detail. And so really understanding that the dollar amount that we give them is not what we get paid. It is what the company gets paid, and then how it is used to run the company. So that is the foundational piece right there, is the pricing without emotion.
Right. And I imagine the emotion stuff comes in too, because there's all of that, the history of how you grew up and what you think about money and what you've been told, and kind of
Yes.
rewriting that in a
Yeah.
way.
Or even looking at it, absolutely, to what you said. And then it gets even more nuanced into like, well, I can't afford this. Well, if I can't afford this, I don't want to mark it up, and they can't afford this. So now we start thinking about their wallet, like,
Right.
right. Or another part might be that we have to come into agreement with what we even think is worth something
Mm.
value wise. Like, I don't think, maybe somebody says, well, I don't really think it makes sense to get a $15,000 sofa. Well, I can't sell a $15,000 sofa if I don't believe that there's value in one. So we really
Absolutely.
have a lot of kind of climbing out
Hmm.
of maybe either old mindsets, broken mindsets, and all of that fits into how we price, for sure.
Yeah, it's huge. I've done a lot of work on it, and I think, no matter where you are in that process, there's more to do
Right. There's
always.
always more to do.
Yeah.
And realizing that we are our own worst enemy. When we
Hmm.
use phrases like just, the minute you say just, we've diminished something.
Yeah.
And starting to recognize when someone is diminishing us,
Hmm.
how to stand back up in a kind way, but in a way that creates barriers for what you will and will not do within your own business.
Yeah.
So that's the course that most people would tell you. Well, they all do it. It's life changing and business changing,
Hmm.
because they immediately start to realize that they're solution providers and they need to price for the solution that they provide,
Right.
just pricing for themselves.
Yeah, and that would be the best starting place, is the pricing without emotions. So
Mhm.
then which class would you say would be the
After
next?
that,
Yeah.
I would go with understanding your financials.
Hmm.
Here's the way I love to do it: pricing without emotion, then understanding your financials, and then master your profit. And I think about it like working your way down a profit and loss sheet or an income statement. We first have to make the money, then we got
Okay.
to know how the money works in the company,
Yeah.
and then we got to know how to manage the profitability of the company. And
Okay.
I walk us through that way. So once we
Hmm.
price it without emotion, now we still have emotion, but
Hmm.
we're using that emotion in the offering to the client, not in getting twisted up in the number that we put on it. We're going to know the reasoning behind how we price so that we can stand up for it. Then in understanding your financials, I take you through understanding, and it's not based on QuickBooks or Sage or PeopleSoft, or it is literally just an understanding. I mean, I certainly use QuickBooks, but it's an understanding of what is an income statement or a P&L, what is a balance sheet, why do they matter, what goes on each document, what you should be looking for, why you need to look for it, which percentages, which margins to look at, why they matter,
Yeah.
how to tell if you're within range for your company.
It's so hard, and
It's a lot.
no one teaches this.
No,
So
no.
yeah,
It goes further into how to understand a cash flow document, how to create your own cash flow, because cash doesn't come in our companies the same amount all the time on the same date. That's not how it works. And so it teaches you how to manage your money, because you may make more, we most of us do, we might have a higher month and then a
right.
lower month, how to take that money in the higher month and save it for the lower month. So it shows you how to do that. I teach you how to create a budget for your company and then how to manage to the budget. I teach you where the money shows up on your tax documents and what you should be monitoring every month. So
Wow.
not, knee deep in the weeds every month, but you know what to look at, when to look at it, what percentages you're checking,
Yeah.
how to use your financials as compared to the financial goals that you set, which is a whole different thing. But I teach you how to set financial goals for your company so that when you get up at the beginning of the month, you know what you need to bring in that month to meet the goal that you've created. And a lot of
Okay.
times we go out and kind of take what we get instead of
Yeah.
going after what we want. And this teaches you how to go after what you want.
I love that. Okay, so for those of us who think, "Ugh, this does not sound fun," what can you tell us about how you can make it fun and maybe bite size, or
Yeah,
just not intimidating? Because it's it's
it's a
one of
lot.
those intimidating things.
It is. Financials, by and large, can be very intimidating, because a lot of times we think we like the pretty things, the beautiful things, or that I always like to say it's a muscle. Like we've worked this design muscle, so now we know how to make these tough decisions that maybe we would not have known how to make the first time we started designing. And understanding your financials and being able to manage the dollars in your company is the same kind of thing. It's a financial language, and it is, a financial building of muscle. And so what I do is I start off very, very basic. I mean, I go all the way down, Heather, of teaching you what's the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant, right? Which some people may be rolling their eyes at that, and other people are going, yeah, right. What is the difference? And so I teach you that. I teach you all the way down to the basics, so that we have, I like to teach in a way that here's a foundation, here is a template, or here is a framework, so that you can pick it up and move it around.
That's
But what makes
empowering.
is
Yeah.
empowering. And
Yeah.
what makes all of it exciting is especially when you get to the master your profit, because when we get there, that means we have money that is seen as profit in the company, separate from our salary. Now, what do I do with that, and how do I manage that? So even just understanding something that we didn't understand before can give us such a confidence and give us such a peace. Like my goal, listen, the minute I give you peace to sleep at night without worrying if you can make the next payment or hire the next person, or is the next job coming, when we can work through that, it changes everything.
Yeah.
And I have clients over and over. They've taken my courses multiple times. My courses are not usually, especially these three, it's not you take it one time and you're done. Most people go through them 2, 3, 4 times, because there's so much information. So you take away what you can and you implement it, and then you go back and you take away what you can for the next layer and you implement it. So there is a growth that happens.
And you have lifetime access to continue.
As long as I have it up and active, you have access, and you can
That's
go
great.
as much as you want. But I love it when I get emails from designers who say, I used to hate Financial Friday, or I hated going in and looking at my numbers. And now I know what to look for and how to do it. I've got it all set up properly, and I cannot wait. And so now it's exciting to me, because I start creating new goals and seeing how I can attain them. And I never would have thought I could have done that.
Yeah.
That's the best compliment in the world, is
That's
when
huge.
their businesses are thriving. Or I get this, oh my gosh, I'm now getting a steady paycheck. Like I'm paying myself from
Right.
the business. And it's not just, oh, there's extra money in the account, I'll take some, and not even know if it's going to impact me 3 months later. Here's what I usually see: people that don't pay themselves at all, right? Because they're either the company doesn't have the money to pay them, or they don't know what they can be paid.
Right.
And sometimes I'll see people that they're just letting all the money pile up in the company because they don't even know what they can do with it. And they've got big bank accounts sitting in the company, and they don't know how to get the money out, or what it should be. And at some point when we work and we don't get paid, we lose that passion, we lose that excitement.
Yeah.
And now it becomes drudgery, or we feel like we can't even create anymore, like our creativity is zapped.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, that's enormous. So then the last one that you would say is to take on the master your profit.
Yeah.
So what's different about that one?
Sure. So master your profit is creating a strategy for managing profit in your company, and it is based on the profit first methodology. I am a certified profit first coach, and I'm also certified in the fix this next methodology, which says, okay, so I fixed this, now what do I fix next? It's based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have a business hierarchy of needs. So the Master Your Profit course helps you create a strategy for how you're going to implement profit first in your business. Because here's the deal: the book is great. Totally recommend people get it. Listen to Mike on Audible. He's hysterical. But the book is written in such a way that it is a super simple process, but it's not always easy to implement. It's nuanced based on each industry, each company, and the processes that they use to take money in.
Right.
And so not all companies are the same, and we have to look at that. So it teaches you, again, strategically how to think about profit, how to plan for profit, how to save for profit, so that we're not robbing the company, right? I see that sometimes where people have paid themselves more than the company can actually handle paying them and covering their taxes. So it makes sure that you're on the good side of the IRS. It makes sure that you got a salary and that you have profit, which is sustainability for the company.
and it's enormous. I mean, talk about being in the driver's seat rather than a passenger along for the ride, and it's a
Yeah.
scary ride.
It can be a scary. I had a client one time. I asked her. I said, if your business was a car, where are you sitting?" And she's like, "I'm holding on to the bumper and I have road rash."
Oh.
And I was like, "Okay, so let's." I said, "First, we're going to get you in the trunk, and then I'll move you to the back seat, and then I'm going to get you over here into the
Or
passenger."
you climb in.
I said, "But by the time we're done, I'm going to have you back in the driver's seat." And
Okay.
that's kind of what the process is like.
Yeah.
There's sometimes a clawing our way back up, but it's the willingness to say, are you going to claw your way back to the front seat, or are you going to let go?
Right. Or are you going to stay in misery? Are you going to
Mhm.
stay stuck and in
Yeah,
misery because you become comfortable with it? Yeah. Too
right.
many people, I think, do that for way too long.
Heather, too, I think there's a lot of shame that surrounds this
Mm.
part of a business. I know that there's a lot of shame because I had a lot of shame around it, around money, and talking about it or asking for what my company was worth, what I was worth,
Yeah.
then knowing how to manage those dollars. And that's why I don't do a huge amount of marketing around the shame of it, because nobody needs more dumped on their head.
Yeah.
So I would rather talk about the empowerment, the
Right.
opportunity
Lift
to
them
earn.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the whole reason for, my podcast, Profit is a Choice, is it's an educational tool to teach us how to go in and start doing some of these things that affect our financial documents.
Mhm.
I'm a firm believer that the financial documents are just a culmination of every decision we've made. Every choice we've made shows up in some way, shape, or form on that document. It could be a poor process, a bad hire, choosing
Mhm.
the wrong client, not keeping up with our hours. All of that rolls forward into some representative number on those financial documents.
Yeah, it's true. That's a really interesting way to look at it. All right. So you have three different programs. Somebody should start with pricing without emotion, then go into understanding your financials, then master your profit. And you offer a bundle of all three, which is awesome because, I mean, you kind of want all three, don't you?
Right.
So,
Well, so here's what would happen. Somebody would get in the middle of one, like for example, master your profit. They're like, "I'm ready to implement profit first." I'm like, "Excellent." So they go into master your profit, and I start talking about the documents and the sheets and what they should be looking at. And they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about." All right,
oh,
well, you need to back up to understand your financials.
yeah,
Then they go through and they go, "Oh snap, I'm not making any money." Okay, well, we need to back up to pricing without emotion. So we need to get you priced properly, because
yeah.
here's how we make money: when you sell the right product or service to the right person
Hmm.
at the right price, and then you manage the heck out of it,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
so the right price and the right product and the right service has to do with pricing without emotion. Managing the heck out of it is understanding your financials and master your profit.
It's great. I love it. I'm so excited. And I got to say, I don't think there's any designer who couldn't use this, but is
Oh yeah.
right. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I have them from the very beginning who say, "I'm starting my business." I work with quite a few of those because they're like, "I want to get it right. I'm watching too much. I see too much. I want to get it right."
yeah,
And then I'll have those that have been in business 30, 40 years come to me and go, "Where have you been all my life? Gosh, if I had known that, the heartache I would have saved." I've got accountants and bookkeepers who take it, who go, "I never thought about it that way."
right.
Right? They know how to put things in the right categories, but they've never thought, just like I came out from building financial software and hadn't thought about it that way. It's just a different way to look at it. So I would say it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, from the first dollar to 5 or 10 million in sales, there is something that you can take away from this course.
Love that. Totally agree. All right. So, let's see. My other questions are, okay. So like I have a business partner. So I'm wondering, if the two of us decide to take the classes, shouldn't we both be in on that, or is it I am in this and then I have to sort of inform her of what I'm learning? Like, how does that work? Because we do have, in our group, we have a lot of solo entrepreneurs, and we also have, some people who have 5 employees, or they just brought on a business partner, or they just
Right.
have, so there's different structures. So what do you say about that?
So I would say that you can buy the course, right? You buy it per company.
Okay.
So if you have you and say your bookkeeper, or you and your partner in your company.
Mhm.
You can either share the same login, or you can let me know and I can give you both your own login to go in and to see it under one purchase.
Got it.
If you are a solopreneur and you have a friend who's also a solopreneur and you kind of want to be accountable and kind of let's go through it together and talk about it as we can,
Mhm.
then you each would need to buy it separately and independently. So it's a purchase for a company, but I don't require you to buy 5 of them, you know. And you're honestly, when it gets down to that level of finances, you're not going to have that many people in your company responsible for all of it. It's
Yeah.
usually going to be 1 or 2 people.
Right.
But within the same company, you can share the same.
That's amazing because I mean it's such a good deal. So I'm going to go through some of the pricing because Collaborate to Win, if you're a member of our collaborative, we're all about you being successful and making the most money. And it's not just the products that you buy. We're offering select coaches like Michele, who we've partnered. So we have an affiliate link, and you use that link, we will send you rebate money. So here's what these cost. So pricing without emotion is $12.95. So we would send you a rebate once you've used our link and you're a member, $80 back. If you sign up for Understanding Your Financials, and that is $7.95. So we would send you a rebate of $50. And the Master Your Profit is also $7.95. We also send you $50 back. Now, the bundle is the best deal going, and let's face it, we need all of it, don't we? You want to master all of it and truly be in the driver's seat. So that's $2,500,
Mm-hmm.
and we are going to give you a rebate of $180 back on that. So it's a win-win for everyone, and I love this because it would just elevate you into the driver's seat. It will elevate you as a professional. It will give you so much empowerment to be able to say, well, you know what? I'm going to hire that person that I need to bring on because I'm ready for it. And I know that I'm paying myself and I can pay them. And it's just, oh my gosh.
Right, to be able to plan to hire, to
Yeah.
plan to for another business disruption, to be able
Mm,
to plan to move out of your home, to be able to plan to buy a new automobile or whatever it is that we need to do,
mhm.
just doing it with intention. I mean, my entire coaching practice, everything is about be intentional, own what you're doing. Don't let the business run you, you run the business. And so that's the way that I coach, that's the way that I teach, is I just want you to be encouraged and empowered and to feel like you can do it. And so I will give you everything that I have to make sure that you feel that way.
Love that. Okay. I think we covered everything. Is there
I think
anything you want to
so.
add?
No, I just would say that, if anybody is fearful,
Hmm.
if you will step past the fear and just purchase it, I promise you that the fear will be removed once you get into it. And
Okay.
so, what's so cool is the thing that maybe was causing us resistance or causing us to know that that was holding us back from moving to the next level. We can actually take care of that and get it out of the way. And then you have the ability to soar. Just imagine if that whole area of your company was cleaned up and was put in place. I had a client just yesterday, who emailed me that said she got all of her books clean and had gone through everything and actually found that she made 30,000 more net profit than she even knew. But
Wow.
it was because things had not been categorized and put together properly. And so sometimes we find money that we didn't even know we had because we didn't know what we were doing. We were doing our best, but we didn't know the rules around it.
What
And
a
so
gift.
that's what I want to do, is help people.
Wow.
You didn't
That's,
have to work any harder. All she had to do was put it in
yeah,
order,
just find it. Wow.
find it. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so thank you so much, Michele, for being here. Thank everybody
You're
for
welcome.
watching this. I'm so excited about this, and of course, Michele's podcast. You want to tell us just a little bit about that?
Sure. It's called Profit is a Choice.
Mm,
And the premise behind that is similar to what we've talked about. Every single decision we make moves us towards or away from profitability. And so it really dives in not just to the numbers, but to the decision making and the choices and about scaling your business. I've been doing a lot on scaling the last year, which simply means growing.
mm.
We all grow in different ways, but how we make those choices and how it affects our future.
Love it. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. And bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Bye.